So we're going to look at special trig ratios in this first video, and then we're going to build it up to look at trigonometric graphs, quadrants, the four quadrants, reference angles in video number 3, and finally how to solve some of these tricky ones like sine 7 pi over 6. But first of all, we need to have a really good understanding of reference angle, special trig ratios that will lead to my reference angles. So I've got two triangles drawn. It's not a memory test. The only thing you need to remember is one thing: sine pi over 6 gives the answer a half. It's the only one you need to remember. Once you know that, you can start filling in the triangle. So I'm going to make one of my angles, my right angle triangle, pi over 6. This whole video, you must be using radians. So I'm going to take it as a given that you know that pi over 6 is the equivalent to 30 degrees. Now, my rule for sine is that it's the opposite divided by the hypotenuse. So 1 is my opposite and 2 is my hypotenuse. So I've got those things just done from remembering that sine pi over 6 equals a half. Now, what else can I fill in there? We're using Pythagoras. This side here becomes root 3. The hypotenuse, which is 2 squared, take away 1, and then I get 3. I also know this other angle up here. I'm going to fill that one in a minute. But before I do so, on that diagram now, I can do two more trig ratios. I can find cosine pi over 6, which is adjacent divided by hypotenuse. I can find tan pi over 6, which is opposite divided by adjacent, which we write as root 3 over 3. So I have 3 trigonometric identities done already. Now, if that one angle down the bottom is pi over 6, the other angle at the top is pi over 3. Because this angle in here is pi over 2, and all of them add up together to give me pi. If you're still thinking in degrees, pi over 3 is 60 degrees, so 60 and 30. Now I'm going to go again and write out some more trig ratios that I know. So sine pi over 3, opposite that angle is root 3, hypotenuse is 2. Cosine pi over 3, adjacent is 1, opposite is 2. And tan pi over 3, opposite that is root 3, and adjacent is 1. So root 3 over 1. So I've got my 6 trig ratios done already. 6 done. There's 3 more that you need to know about. So I've got a second triangle here. And this triangle is isosceles. So if it's isosceles, each of these angles is pi over 4. 45, 45. 1 and 1. You could list anything you like, but 1 and 1 is the easiest thing. 1 squared plus 1 squared gives me 2, so the third side is root 2. And now I'm going to go and write down sine pi over 4 is opposite divided by hypotenuse, which is root 2 over 2. Cosine pi over 4, the same thing, because you still got the 1 over root 2, which we're going to write down as root 2 over root 2. And finally, tan pi over 4, opposite is 1, adjacent is 1, so this comes out as 1. So these 6 you need to have a good working knowledge about. When you get used to it, you might be able to just remember every single one, but to begin with, we're always going from the fact that you should just remember this and then reproduce those 2 triangles and have 9 special trig ratios that you can call upon. You're going to need those to be able to answer any questions without a calculator.